Lucky you. You get to come along on one of my favorite trails in all of the Sandia Mountains. This is a trail on the front face of the Sandia Mountains overlooking the city of Albuquerque. We're at about 10,400 feet here. And it's one of my favorite runs because it's got so much exposure and it's just a beautiful view almost the entire way. So we're gonna be talking today about intermittent fasting. And the reason we're talking about that is because I'm overweight. I am a heavy boy for my size. I should weigh at the most 159 pounds. And as of yesterday, I weigh 172. And that's a win already because of intermittent fasting, or what I'll call intentional eating. I have lost 8 to 9 pounds over the last 2 months just by limiting when I eat. And what I'm doing is I'm doing a 6-hour eating window. I'm eating as much as I want during that time. And so basically, for me, 2 meals a day, maybe a light snack. And it's working. But I want to talk about my challenges when I started doing that and why those challenges happened in case you decide to do something like this. I know that everyone is at a different place in their lives with regard to the things they picked up over their lives, the additional weight, the diseases, the illnesses, all that stuff. And so you have to judge for yourself whether it's right for you. But for me, this is working. So intentional eating for me is eating within a 6-hour window from noon to 6 p.m. And I don't eat outside that window. And that was something I've never really done it before. I've done where I wouldn't eat for a day or 2 days. I think I did 5 days one time. And you learn something when you restrict your eating. You learn just how deep your relationship with food is. You learn just how important it is to you, how your life is structured around it. I remember walking in my kitchen when I was doing a 5-day fast and seeing how snacks were so accessible, so available for me. And not just healthy snacks, but like chocolate turtles and gummy worms and chocolate covered coffee beans and just all kinds of crap. And so that taught me that, we build systems around ourselves that contribute to the way we are. And if you're aware of those systems, well, fasting will make you aware of those systems. But back to this intermittent fasting. That was one of the first things I did notice, was that I started to get hungry during those times when I wasn't supposed to be eating. And it's a natural thing that happens because you've got this thing in your body called ghrelin, which is a hunger hormone that's there to trigger you to eat when you need to eat, or when it thinks you need to eat. And if you have been conditioning it with meals throughout the day, from basically when you open your eyes in the morning to when you go to bed at night, it's going to be going off all the time and telling you it's time to eat. And what you have to do is learn that it's not based on any real need you have. It's based on habit, and you have to retrain that habit. And so by just saying, okay, hey, you get a hunger pang and you go, oh shit, oh, okay, I didn't die. You get a hunger pang and I just fell right off that edge right there. You get a hunger pang and you get a drink of water or something, or you go start a new activity and you don't, then your body realizes you didn't die, and it knows you're going to feed it again in a few hours when you do actually eat. It starts to get retrained. And so over time, over a period of a few days, weeks, you become this person who only eats for 6 hours a day. It doesn't mean you can't eat other times, but it won't be because of hunger. It'll be because of a social event or whatever. And that's not going to ruin you. It's just part of living life. So, ghrelin, hunger hormone. Yeah, so after a while, some people call it being fat adapted, but the point of fasting is that you, when you go to bed at night, for most of us, when we're not controlling our eating, we're in a fasted state through our sleep. And when we wake up in the morning, we break that fast. If we don't break that fast, the body starts to figure out, hey, I need energy, I gotta get it from somewhere. And so it unlocks some of your fat stores to be broken down and turned into fuel. And when you extend that eating window, you're basically training your body to burn fat for energy. And so what you find is that you can go out on a run like this. I think it's probably like, maybe, let me look at the time. It's 9:46. I'm not hungry, but yet I'm out here expending energy. And by the time I get home, I'll be thinking about my meal. But yeah, so you can go out and exercise and do it all in the fuel that's in your body. And so that's kind of the benefit. And the longer you extend that window, the more fat you burn. And then there's this other benefit that people talk about that says when you're doing that, your body also cleans up the mess. All the crap that you've eaten, all the byproducts of burning the old stuff, there's just a lot of scraps around or things that are not your body, and it will consume those things. And people say that has cancer beating benefits. Some people do extended fast, like a 7-day water only fast, as a way to basically clean up their bodies. And obviously, when you know that cleaning up is going on, you don't want to go and just throw a bunch of shit everywhere when you know, as soon as you start eating again. So you have to become a lot pickier about what you're eating. And I do become a lot pickier when I am fasting. It's like, you know, you might get a twang of hunger. You're like, look at the time, it says, hey, it's 10 a.m. Nope, not time to eat. You keep going. And 11:30, you start to say, okay, what am I gonna eat? I would really like this, or I would really like that. And you kind of portion that meal into terms of carbohydrates, complex carbohydrates, protein, something satisfying and delicious that's going to fill you up. And you're a lot more selective about what you put in your mouth. And I always joke that nothing ever goes in your mouth by accident, hardly ever. And so you choose, you make choices every single day. And so you start to choose better. You don't let yourself get caught out on the road, only surrounded by fast food places. But if you do, it is what it is, but it's not, it shouldn't be the standard, because you're not really, then you're dirtying up that cleanup that your body just did overnight. So yeah, you become a lot more selective, and then you can eat as much as you want in those 6 hours, but you don't. I mean, very often I'll make myself a nice meal and I'll start eating it. And I've got to get over this, but I always feel like I have to eat it all because it's all I'm eating. Well, until the next meal. But what I think is when I start to feel satisfied, I should stop eating, because that urge is met. Save that food, maybe have it for a snack later. But instead I'm hearing my mom in the back of my head saying, eat everything on your plate, don't waste it. People are starving in Africa, all that. And that's kind of conditioning we got to get over. What else? So yeah, you become more selective, and even about your snacks. A treat is now, for me, some nuts or something like that. I rarely ever eat anything like a chip or anything. I kind of have eliminated that stuff. And so as a result, I'm eating naturally more low carb, I guess, or at least low simple carb. And that it's not hard to do, because all that stuff does is it makes you want more. And everything is sugar. I mean, ultimately everything gets converted to sugar, and as a population, if you're from the United States, you eat up to 3 times more sugar than your body needs or can handle. And that's the number one cause of diabetes, type 2, I think. And when you overload your body with something, it has to deal with it, and it deals with it with insulin, and then you get to where you're putting out so much insulin, it no longer has the effect it's supposed to have, and you end up sick. And so I think we got to start retraining our bodies, because sugar's a treat. It's something that, we're not, as a species, we're pretty old, but this current version of ourselves is only a few hundred years old, where we've had sugar on demand whenever we want it at the nearest convenience store. And so sugar's hidden in everything you eat. It's pasta, bread. It's in anything with the OSE at the end, fructose, sucralose. It's in the ingredient list. Whoa, I heard something back there. And so it's easy to consume a lot of sugar, and sugar makes us feel good. I mean, it's supposed to. When we found it in a natural setting, it was during a certain time of the year when things were ripe, and it gave us a sense of well-being and a sense of comfort. And now, we don't need that. I mean, we do, but some people eat for stress, or some people eat because they're not getting enough sleep and they need energy, because it does give us energy. But you should fix the root cause instead of consuming poison for your body. So I don't want to lecture you. I just want to tell you that we eat way too much sugar, and if you're intentionally eating, you can get everything you need with some good solid food. So that's the benefits. That's what it's doing for me. I think in my last video I talked about how amazing I feel sometimes. I just have these freaking days that are just like everything is beautiful, and I put on a song on the radio and I fucking start crying, and my emotions seem like they're super close to the surface, but in a good way. And I feel pretty good today, that's for sure. So fasting, intermittent fasting, intentional eating. What else do I want to talk about? I think I just don't really, for me, if this is something you want to do, I would highly suggest it. It's a great thing, and you can do it just for a little while, or you can choose to do it for a lifetime. Different cultures and different people at different age groups eat at different times. Breakfast is supposedly was invented to sell products and to get you to eat 3 times a day so you buy the products. And I worked for a multinational corporation that sold basically grain and sugar. And I worked in a facility where half the weight of the product before drying was sugar. And that's pretty scary. But again, obviously people make what sells, but at the same time, we have a lot more open to us than our traditional forefathers had available to them. And if we eat more like that, I think we'll be better off. I really am happy you guys came out here with me. I intend to take you on some other runs. There's another trail that I want to do that is just geologically amazing. And it's close to where one of the largest dinosaurs was ever found. And we won't go to this part, but there's these huge trees that fell down a long time ago. And they've turned into rock. And you could just see the splits where they broke over time once they turn into rock and fossilize. Anyway, yeah, so that's going to be awesome when we go out there. It's an 8-mile loop, and it'll be one of my long runs that I'll bring you along on. I think about this sometimes, that being out here is kind of like the YouTuber who has the hot girlfriend who always comes into the picture sometimes, or has her participating in some way just for views. And yeah, I'll say, yeah, I think that if you can watch this and get something out of it from the content, I'm happy about that, because I want you to be healthy and happy. And if you can get something or want to go run somewhere beautiful because of the views, I totally wholeheartedly support that as well. I think we're gonna wrap this one up. I've got some climbing to do to get back out of here. I ran down this trail, and normally you go back along the other side of the mountain, but I've got this new camera, and I realized that it was set to pro, which wasn't so pro because everything was really dark. So I just put it back in automatic, and hopefully this is good enough for you. I just wanted something I could wear on my head that was light enough that I could run in comfort. So thanks again for being here, supporting. Let me know if you've played with intermittent fasting in the past. If you are struggling with your weight or care about it. What I think is pretty amazing is how our bodies are so responsive, as far as we abuse the crap out of them, and they continue to just take care of us for the most part. And I think at this point in our lives, it's time to give back a little bit, to treat them right. And you might say, well, is it too late? It's never too late. It's the perfect time to start anything is today. It's right now. So if you haven't gotten out for your run today, if you haven't started eating more intentionally, start today. It's only going to make you healthier, happier, and better. I don't know. One last view. Oh, man. It's awesome. I'm grateful for this. Thanks again.